Today will be a day to remember for the rest of your life. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is excited to present the heart of a Hall of Famer program connected by Extreme Networks. With over 100 Hall of Famers participating, we have reached 47 states and countries all over the world, sharing the message that football is more than a game and can teach Americans important life values like commitment, integrity, courage, respect, and honesty.
You have to make right decisions even when nobody's watching you.
Well, respect is not just given out. It's not handed out like a brochure. It's earned.
Today, you are presented with an opportunity to meet and learn from one of the greatest football players of all time. But more important than that, the chance to see that their Hall of Fame life wasn't given to them. They didn't roll out the bed great. They put the work in, on the field, in the weight room, in the classroom, in their communities. They made themselves a Hall of Famer on and off the field.
Your feet can't take you where your mind's never been.
Because you can make it, but it's just gonna take a little hard work and some effort and the drive and determination.
And today, you will learn you can do the same thing they did. You don't have to have a gold jacket or a bronze bust to make a difference in the lives of others. It's your decision whether you want to be a successful student, son, daughter, brother, or sister.
If attitudes are contagious, is your attitude worth catching?
It's integrity as well, because when you decide to pursue something and you don't quit, that says a lot about you.
Commitment to excellence. We can all aspire to be the best.
Welcome to a once-in-a-lifetime program, the heart of a Hall of Famer program, connected by Extreme Networks.
Remember living those moments. Do you realize how great those moments were? Did you see them? God, did you see Lynn Swann in Super Bowl 10? Unbelievable juggling, acrobatic catch, unbelievable.
I was one of the best basketball players in the state of Ohio. I had a brother in the NBA, and I was only playing football to stay in shape. He told me, looked me straight in the eye, and said, son, you have a better chance to be Lynn Swann than you do Isaiah Thomas.
And growing up as a Steeler fan, I admired players like Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris, my idols, Lynn Swann and John Stallworth. They're up here for a reason.
You see, my dream to play in the NFL didn't start with the QB position. It began wanting to be the next great wide receiver, the next Steve Largent or Charlie Joyner or Lynn Swann. Yes, I know how outrageous that sounds now, especially as often as my boys remind me about my Madden speed rating.
Last year I stood here and presented Lynn Swann, and Lynn got up and he made mention of the fact that if this was his greatest hour, then it was only a half hour. And I say to Lynn here today, I'm more than happy to complete that hour for him.
All right, and with that, I want to welcome everyone to Denmark High School in Alpharetta, Georgia for our latest installment of our Heart of Hall of Famer series, connected by Extreme Networks, featuring today Hall of Famer Lynn Swann. And my name is Jerry Shockey. I'm the Senior Director of Youth Education and Leadership at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. And I just want to share with you guys real quick what we stand for here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Our mission is to honor the greatest of the game, to preserve its history. We are a museum. To promote its values. This is what this program is all about here today, promoting the values of the game, and then to celebrate excellence together. Our values are our commitment, courage, honesty, integrity, and respect. And I'm excited, and hopefully you are too, to hear how these values, along with others, have impacted Mr. Swann on the field, but most importantly, off the field. And so before we get started with Mr. Swann's opening remarks, I do have some thanks I have to give out here. Okay, so just bear with me for a couple minutes because this does not happen without a great team in order to ensure its success. And there has been a wonderful team here at Denmark High School and across this district. And so first and foremost, our friends at Extreme Networks, thank you for all that you do. They underwrite this cost so we can fly here and do all this and set up all this equipment and everything else. And they've been our partner since 2014. So they have been a long-term partner. They're great friends of ours at the Hall of Fame. And so thank you. I know Paul's here from Extreme. Thank you very much for being here today. You guys are doing an awesome job supporting us and allowing us to go out and do what we love to do, which is talk about the values of the game. Also, the teachers and administrators here at Denmark and throughout the district. Just some names I want to list off here. Kim Oliver, who's the principal here. Kirk Grizzle. Kirk, raise your hand back there. Kirk has been, yeah, give him a round of applause. Kirk has made my job easy today. So, and it's great to have teammates like that in anywhere in life. They make your job easier. Mark Karen, the athletic director here. Kelly Russo, the athletic secretary. Kelly, where are you at? Raise your hand there. Let's give her a round of applause too. She's been here every step of the way. I know we have some board members here. Mike Valdez, incoming board member Dorian Usherwood. Are you guys present here? Is that? I saw some suits down here, so I figured that might be the direction to go. So, thank you very much for being here. Mitch Young, the superintendent. Josh Lowe, chief of staff. Let me just say this, Michelle, where are you? Michelle and the four of us have worked together. Michelle, give Michelle a round of applause too, because I feel like we're going to all become Facebook friends and keep in touch now because of this today. So thank you for your love and support. I feel like I'm home right now, and so even though I'm away from home, so thank you for that. Michelle's a big reason for that. And then Nathan Turner, district athletic director. The last person that's been instrumental in this, Thomas, where are you at? Is he in here? Okay, Thomas, thank you for everything. Give him a round of applause too, because he's been doing everything possible to make sure that this is a success. And then lastly, is the mayor present? Is the honorable here? Mayor Troy Brumbelow, thank you for being here as well. So we appreciate you guys for all being here. And then lastly, we need to thank the real stars of the show here today. And that's first of all, the 150 students that we have here at Denmark High School. But then also, as you can see on the screen, not only do we have people on the screen, but we have those that are tuned in remotely as a webinar, but we also have those that are viewing via our YouTube channel as well. So thank you, students, for being here. You're going to be the ones that are driving the show here today as you interact with our guest here today. Also, no matter where you're watching, whether you're here present or whether you're connecting in over Zoom or over YouTube channel, make sure to share your photos and videos on your social media. Make sure to tag at Pro Football HOF, at Extreme Networks, or the hashtag Pop Values. And who knows, maybe our digital media team might just reshare your post as well. So I encourage you guys to do that. Now to our guest, and I'm just going to do a quick summary so we can get started, get into here, just to give you an idea of who we have here today. And we'll get more into how the honor of him being a Hall of Famer when we go live to our museum. But over 5,000 receiving yards, 336 receptions, 51 touchdowns, 9 seasons, and get this, not 1, not 2, not 3, but how many? 4-time Super Bowl champion. So please join me in welcoming Pro Football Hall of Famer from the class of 2001, Mr. Lynn Swann. Thank you. So Lynn, first of all, hearing that intro of the program itself, but then hearing these guys that followed your footsteps, if you will, talk about you. Is there anything you want to open up this program with to start the Q&A?
Well, you know, let me just go back to something you mentioned already. And I appreciate the very kind and generous remarks of fellow Hall of Famers in terms of how they felt about my contribution to the game. But when we talk about the game, when we talk about the Hall of Fame, you know, we talk about commitment, we talk about honesty, courage, we talk about respect, and we talk about integrity. Well, to help you remember those things, I want you to take this commitment first and put it at the top. Because if you don't have commitment, then you don't have anything. If you're not committed to something, then why are you there? Commitment means you're going to do what it takes to be successful, to get the job done, whatever it might be, whatever field, not just sports, but in life, you've got to tell yourself, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to commit the time and energy and resources to make this work. But if you take the other 4 parts and I switched them around and I put them in order of respect, integrity, courage, and honesty, that spells out rich. How rich do you want your life to be? So first, if you start with commitment, the R standing for respect, and not that other people respect you, you have to respect everyone else. You have to give respect in order to receive respect. You have to earn respect in order for people to see what you're all about and what you're doing. You respect yourself, respect the people around you. Okay? It's the first step in being a great teammate, respecting your team. If I go out and catch a pass, there are 10 other people who have to do a job in order for me to catch that one pass. If I don't respect my teammates and don't go out and do my best to catch that one pass, then I've let them down. The second part would be integrity. Okay? Got to have integrity. Got to be about what's right. You got to have it in your heart. You got to have it in your soul. It's got to be at the top of your mind. You want to do it the right way. You're not going to get anywhere by taking a shortcut and cheating the process. It's work. Everything is work. You may enjoy the work because you like to play sports. It may not seem like work to you, but to get faster and stronger, to get in the gym, to run, to be a great teammate, that takes integrity, that takes that respect for what you're doing. Courage. I mean, I'm not that big. And when I come across the middle of the football field and guys, linebackers are sitting there waiting for me, I still have to keep going. I came across the middle of the field against the Denver Broncos, and this middle linebacker laid me out. I mean, when he hit me, I mean, it's like I felt this wet thing on my nose, and I put my hand up there, and it was snot. He hit me so hard. And I'm laying there on the ground, and he's standing above me saying, I didn't hit him hard enough because he caught the ball, and he held on to it. He said, I'm going to hit him harder the next time. I got up, I looked him square in the eye and said, you will never hit me again. We won the football game. He never touched me again because I was smart enough to understand where he was, and I avoided him. I'm not stupid. You know, the other thing is courage. Having the courage to do the tough things, having the courage to do the right thing. Okay? There's all kinds of courage. It's not just being brave. You know, it's about helping your teammates grow and sacrificing, having the courage to give someone else an opportunity so that the whole team can be better. And the last thing is honesty. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your teammates. They'll respect you more as a result of it. Don't cheat yourself. Be honest in terms of what you need to do and how to move forward. Okay? High school. Take advantage of all the things that you could possibly do. Open your mind to new things. Don't just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Don't be afraid. Have the courage to do something different because you enjoyed it or you liked it. Okay? So, how many people in here dance? Raise your hand. If you dance. Nobody dances?
Professionally or just in the?
I mean,
I dance.
Do you like dance? Do you not go to parties? Somebody's got to dance, right? Okay, all right, there's a couple of hands going up. When I was in the 4th grade, I enrolled in a dance class. So before I ever started playing professional or college or Pop Warner football in middle school, I was already 2 years into ballet and tap dance. I danced from grade school through middle school through high school and danced in programs at the USC School of Dance. Okay, people were always teasing me about dance and everything else, you know, talking about wearing the tights and wearing the ballet shoes and all that kind of stuff. Okay, all the guys had something to say. but they're the cutest girls in that dance class. I'm telling you, okay? And I enjoyed dance. Dance helped me more in professional football than anything else because it taught me body control. It taught me how to get up in the air, jump high, and I took it with me wherever I went. So a lot of the catches you've seen me make, a lot of the highlights they showed up here, those are a result of, yes, hard work, being in the right place at the right time, but a long history of dance in my background that made many of those catches possible. So find it in your heart to have the courage to do the things you want to do and expand your foundation, because it'll give you a platform to do so much more with your life.
Okay, well, I've got one question, then we're going to go to questions from the audience. But to kick things off a little bit more, something you touched on, you know, we believe all sports teach amazing things. I never played a down of organized football growing up. I played baseball, basketball, soccer, and golf. And those sports taught me everything you heard in that video and in life. But being at the Hall of Fame and overseeing our leadership programming as well, we do corporate training and teacher training and all kinds of stuff. Football is just different than any other sport. And you touch on this because you said all 10 other guys have to execute what they're doing in order for you to be a success. And is that not a recipe for, I mean, a CEO in a boardroom or whatever? What do you think separates football from any other sport?
I think the teamwork, the sacrifice, the long-term strategy, you know, the number of years you put into a sport to be the best you can be in that sport, and seeing those results. You know, those are the things that make the difference. You know, you come up with an idea. You're not on your own. Your other teammates have ideas and things that they think will work, and you have conversations with them. You talk to the coaches, and you share this information. At the end of the day, the shared information becomes part of the game plan that allows you to win. And there are hundreds of examples of this for players in every sport, football especially, because it's such the consummate team sport where everybody has to work together. If one player on the offensive line doesn't do his job, defensive lineman comes through, sacks a quarterback, tackles, running back, you know, all of those things. So everybody's got to do their thing.
Okay, so some quick ground rules, just some, as we go through the Q&A portion here. First of all, you notice that I'm a little bit distracted as I go now, and I'm communicating with my team as we're queuing up the groups over there. So if you see me looking down or writing something down, that's because we're communicating here. So it's not me trying to ignore what Lynn's or text my wife or something like that.
What? You're not listening?
And so just so you know that, but some ground rules here. We will rotate between questions here in our live audience. We'll take 3 here initially from our live audience, and then those interactive schools over Zoom, and then also those who submitted via our YouTube channel as well. For those schools tuning in via Zoom and our interactive, when we come to your school, you know, have your student ready, have that microphone ready to unmute and ask that question. So we can, you know, keep things moving quickly throughout here program, that way we don't have to wait for your students to come all the way up front and then ask the question, those things. So have them prepared for that. And if you are watching us on YouTube Live, submit your question via the comment section and leave your name, your school, and where you're from, and we'll do our best. If they text it in, like I already got a texted question in for one of the view-only schools that I'm probably interject here today, my team will text that in to me as well. We'll do our best to get that question in. So for those that are connected in via Zoom, I'm going to give you the order right now so you can be prepared that when the school ahead of you asks the question, that you can be like, we're up next whenever that comes, so you can be ready. So Malvern will be first. We'll go to Jonesboro after that. Malvern's in Malvern, Ohio. Jonesboro is in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Lake Elementary is in Uniontown, Ohio. North Bridgeville Academic Center in North Bridgeville, Ohio. And then they were going to be interactive, but now they're view only. Magnolia School in Orlando, Florida is connected in as well. I do have your question here. I'm going to try to interject that here as well today. So with that being said, let's start here live with 3 questions here, and then Malvern, be ready, we'll come to you, and then Jonesboro.
My name is Brendan. I'm in 12th grade. Knowing what you know now, if you go back to your high school self, what key piece of advice would you give yourself?
So let me repeat that, or do you want to repeat it? Go ahead. Okay. Knowing what you know now, what would you do going back to 12th grade? Would you change anything?
I'd study finance. I mean, I come from a background, the family didn't have a lot of money, but then I'd have a better handle on finance and be able to work some things out. I think I've done a really good job kind of learning along the way. But a financial background doesn't mean that you have to be an accountant, that you're doing something boring. But it gives you the basis and structure of how things are done on a dollar and cents level, on the math level, so that you can achieve and grow with any business that you have an interest in and moving it forward. So the math part of it kind of gets people in terms of finance, but it is well worth giving yourself that kind of background to go anywhere. So it doesn't matter if you start your own business. It doesn't matter if you're working for a large corporation. You're going to be able to climb the ladder to do more things, to have more opportunities, because you've got this basic understanding of finance, and you can grow that from that beginning.
Okay, next one.
Hey, man, my name is Rashawn. I want to first thank you for coming here and sharing knowledge with us and giving us advice. My first question is, what advice would you give young people about developing their character early on?
So advice on developing character as a young person.
I think, we talked about it earlier on. We talked about commitment and respect and developing that character as you move forward. You know the difference between right and wrong. Okay? Not that you're going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. But whenever I did something wrong, I knew it was wrong. And took a step back and said, okay, I've got to correct this. Okay? This is how you develop that character. And knowing how to do the right things. It's very important. It's you don't want to get preachy and say, hey, you got to do it this way, you got to do it that way. Be honest with yourself. You made mistakes. Okay, you're going to make some other mistakes. But don't let those mistakes be consistent and always happening to you. Take a step back, regroup, moving forward. So that's what I would suggest.
And can I interject one real quick, and then we'll have her go next? Going along with that, like how important is it to surround yourself, because you're talking about accountability right now, having people in your life that will correct you, having those influence in your life, whether it's in sports or in life in general. I mean, I have people around my life that help shape my character and say, no, Jerry, you should have done, number one is my wife. She tells me all the time what I do wrong in a good way. But other people in your life, who are those people, and how important is it to have that team of people that will correct you when you need it?
Well, it's important in terms of your family dynamic, being able to share things with your family and for your parents to give you that kind of guidance. It's also hanging out with the right people who are doing good things, and sometimes it means hanging out with people who aren't doing the right things, trying to get them back on track, because you see them headed down a wrong path. It might be a friend, it might be a family member, someone in your class, and you kind of see them on the edge. Maybe they're on the edge because, nobody's helping them out. Nobody's reaching out to give them a helping hand to kind of change what they're doing. And so when we talk about courage and respect, you've got to have the courage to walk up to your friends and say, hey, look, I think what you're doing is wrong. I think we can find a better way, and understand why they're doing what they're doing. Don't get too judgmental, okay? Because along the way, you're going to make a mistake. All right, correct it moving forward. But you got to give a helping hand to some people along the way.
My name is Caitlin. I'm in 11th grade, and my question is, how important do you think accountability is on and off the field?
What's accountability?
Yeah, accountability on and off the field is huge. Because it's you. You give your word to somebody that you'll do something, and then you don't do it. What happens? Do they trust you? No. The accountability part is huge. When you have an assignment, do the work. Read the information. Get there, take the test, and you feel good about your chances of getting a good grade. because you're accountable. You read the material, you studied it, you moved it forward. You know, you don't study the game plan. I mean, our playbook is about this thick. Okay? You don't study that playbook, you don't understand the variations in football in terms of formation, alignment, who to block. The accountability when you get on the football field, you make a mistake, you miss a block, somebody doesn't pick up the yard, we don't score the touchdown. Okay? Quarterback, you know, the accountability. He throws you the ball, you gotta catch it. If Terry Bradshaw threw me a pass and I didn't catch it, you think he's gonna throw me the next one? And it's not like we threw the football like we do today, you know, 20, 25, 30 times in the ball game. I was lucky if they threw 5 passes my way. I was MVP. I was the first wide receiver to be the most valuable player in a Super Bowl, Super Bowl 10. Anybody know how many passes they threw to me and how many I caught? Anybody? Speak up.
3,
No.
2.
No. They threw 5. I caught 4 for 161 yards and the touchdown. Okay? Accountability. Taking advantage, not complaining that I didn't get 10 passes thrown to, but taking advantage of the 5 they did throw by catching 4 and scoring a touchdown. Okay? Doesn't always go your way. The game changes. You have to evolve. You know, we're as happy about a block that gets somebody into the end zone or gets them downfield to score, you know, to get accountable yards as we are about scoring a touchdown on our own. So that kind of accountability is hugely important.
Okay, so let's go to our remote schools. We're gonna go for 3 questions here. We're gonna start with Malvern, so go ahead and start getting ready, Malvern. Have your student ready. We'll go to Jonesboro next, and then Lake Elementary. So Malvern, if you got your nice, loud and clear. Malvern? All right. We will come back to you, Malvern. Let's go to next one up, Jonesboro. Jonesboro, if you guys are ready. Oh, I see you're muted, unmuted your mic. Oh, look at that preparation. I love it. Go ahead, Jonesboro.
Hello, I am Jamison Turner, a junior representing Jonesboro High School. First, we'd like to thank you for taking your time today to share your life experiences and wisdom with us. Our question is, what are some events in your life that inspired you and made you the man you are today?
What are some of the what?
Can you repeat that again?
What are some events in your life that inspired you and made you the man that you have become today?
Well, you know, I think it's easy to put out there that when I was growing up, you know, I was watching the San Francisco 49ers and the way they played and met some of the players. R.C. Owens was a tremendous player back in the day. And so those things kind of inspired me and moved me forward. But sometimes there are negative things that occur. So in a great moment when I was being drafted by the Steelers in the first round, that night I took my oldest brother and my middle brother. We all went out to dinner in San Francisco, and we were playing this game that just came out called Palm. And we finished dinner, we jumped in the car, we're headed out. My brother's driving away. We cross the street in San Francisco, and we see these red lights come on behind us. And it's a police car. And we're not drunk, we're not intoxicated. Police car pulls us over and asked for my brother's driver's license. My oldest brother was driving, gave him the driver's license. He went back and, you know, talking to the other guy in the car, you know, he told my brother he was going to give him a ticket for having a mutilated driver's license. But it wasn't so mutilated that he couldn't read it and call it in. And my brother was challenging that kind of thing. Another policeman in the car had pulled up to the other side standing on the street side, passenger side. And he was standing there and he just had his hand on his gun. And the police walked away. My brother got out of the car and they were talking. And then the policeman just reached out and punched my brother in the face. My brother's response was, boom, to punch him back. So now we've got this altercation going on. We're all out of the car. In less than 5 minutes, there were about 5 or 6 police cars there. They handcuffed us, threw us in the street, kicked us, and beat us while we were handcuffed. Threw us in jail. Every 5 minutes, they marched me out in front of a camera because the press had gotten a hold of it. The police said things to me like, well, we know you're Lynn Swann, you play at Sarah High School. You've got worse beatings on the football field than what we just gave you. And then they charged us with assault on a police officer. We won the criminal case, but can you imagine me going back to Pittsburgh and with the media and the press being so negative, people were wondering, who did we draft? Because people tend to believe the story that the police put out in the newspaper. Took me a good 3 years, I think, to overcome that in terms of people understanding the kind of person I was, and that my brothers and I, we were not those guys, that the police were wrong. Took me 3 years to win the case. We won the criminal case ahead. I filed a lawsuit against the San Francisco police, which 2 years after the event, we won. So, those kinds of things are lessons I would not wish on any of you at any point in time. But when those things happen to you, you're going to have to dig down deep and discover who you are, what you stand for, and fight for what you stand for. Don't take the easy way out. They offered us, said, well, Lynn will let you go, but your 2 brothers and your cousin have to plead guilty to these 2 charges. There's no way I'm turning my back on my brothers or my cousin. There's no way I'm going to let them down because they think if I'm in the case that I've got some cachet that the media will listen to. And so they want me out of the picture. Can't do that. Can't step away from your obligations, can't step away from your responsibilities. You can't step away from doing the right thing because it's hard to do. You got to stay with it. So.
All right, we're going to do 2 more since Malvern wasn't able to. We'll go to Lake now, and then North Ridgeville will be ready right after Lake. So go ahead, Lake Elementary, if you got your student lined up and ready, speak nice, loud, and clear towards that microphone.
So my name's Keaton, and football is many times referred to as estimate team sport. How do you think teamwork teaches you about life?
How do I think sports, teamwork
teaches you about life?
Teaches you about life? Because if you're not a good team, you have no success. You don't win. The play doesn't work in any sport, in basketball, baseball, you name it. And you don't win because of what you just do that day. You win because of the work you put in. You guys and gals who are all playing some kind of sport. I mean, you're in the weight room, you're training, you're getting flexibility, you're running. If you don't put that work in, how are you going to have success? And so that's the key in football, key in every sport. You got to put the work in, you got to do it, you got to get better. I mean, like I said, I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but I was a long jumper. I played basketball. I was a pole vaulter. I ran everything from the half mile on down. I ran the hurdles. I was a California State long jump champion. And one of the guys I beat ended up winning the gold medal in 1972 in the Olympics. Okay, so it's all of that you do, the dancing, everything else that you add to it that helps make you better.
Okay, thank you, Lake. Way to go. North Ridgeville, or if you're set. Oh, there you go. I saw Jim. Good to see you, Jim. And Paul, I think, is in there as well. So, hi, Paul. They're Browns fans, though, by the way. So, just so you know, it's
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I'm glad the Browns.
Okay.
My name is Eliana. I'm in 5th grade, and my question is, what was the best memory you had from playing football?
Best memory you had for playing football?
Best memory I have? Well, I think I'm fortunate. I think I have a lot of good memories. Let's start with the first one. Payday. Okay. When I got my first check. Now, I will tell you, I thought it was a lot of money. It is nothing compared to what the players make today. But, and I don't mind telling you, when I signed my contract with the Steelers, I had a 3-year contract. I had $110,000 signing bonus as a first round pick. My first year salary was $35,000. My second year salary was $45,000. And my third year salary was $55,000. Okay? Guys who get drafted in the first round today, that was pocket change to them today. But that was a lot of money to me. So that was a huge day in terms of making that kind of money. I was making more money than my parents were making. Okay? So that was huge. Maybe the other day was the first pass thrown to me as a professional football player in a regular season game was a touchdown. I don't care how good you are, how confident you might be walking into a game, but the first time they give you an opportunity to show what you can do, you want to make it happen. So that was the first pass thrown to me, and it was a touchdown. So that was a huge moment that told me I can play. I just proved that I can have the greatest results in my first game. I'm ready to play this game. And then maybe the next great moment was in Super Bowl 10. I had a concussion playing against the Raiders. So I was in the hospital the first week for about 2 days. And then we go down to Florida to play the Super Bowl and play against the Cowboys. And I end up being the MVP of the game. So those were huge moments for me in my growth in terms of, what I should expect from myself and how I could perform.
All right. Well, one of the things we love to do is we love to give you guys a little shot, those students that are tuning across the country and those here live, of the Hall of Fame in a pretty special place, pretty nice location. Because there's 3 things you get when you're trying the Hall of Fame. You get the bronze bust, you get the jacket, and you get the ring. Okay. And so you've seen the jacket, all right, done by Hager, the ring done by K Jewelers, and then we have the bronze bust that we are going to go live to. My teammate, who is the manager of youth education and leadership at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Jake Ray. Jake, can you hear me? And if you can, go for it.
All right, thanks, Jerry. We hope all of the students are having a great time hearing from our great Hall of Famer, Mr. Lynn Swann, today. And I am, yes, Jerry, I am in here in the Pro Football Hall of Fame up here in Canton, Ohio, in what some people call probably the most exciting place in our museum, and that is our Hall of Fame gallery. You can see I'm surrounded by all those bronze busts that you spoke of there, Jerry. And just to kind of put it in perspective, what me having that jacket and having this bronze bust right here and that K Jewelers Ring of Excellence means is, there's been over 300 million people to play the game of football at all levels, from Pee-wee to high school, like we're here talking today, all the way up to the professional levels. There's been about 5 million to play it in college, and just about 30,000 have been played to either play, coach, or administer the game of professional football. And in this room right here, there's only 378 bronze busts, meaning there's only 378 Hall of Famers of anybody who ever had their hand in the game of football. And the gentleman you're hearing from today is one of those 378. So, Lynn, we can talk about the 51 touchdowns, the 3 All-Pros, the 3 Pro Bowls, the 4 Super Bowl trophies, and the Super Bowl MVP. But I really want to know, what does it mean to be a part of this fraternity? What does it mean for you to walk through these doors here in Canton, Ohio, to not only call yourself Lynn Swann, NFL legend, but Lynn Swann, Hall of Famer?
Well, when you were talking about the jacket, I opened up my jacket and on the inside of everyone's jacket, there's a Hall of Fame logo. And it's got your name, the year that you went in, the class of 2001, and a number. Mine says 209. So I'm the 209th player to go into the Hall of Fame. You know, for someone who didn't intend on being a professional football player, you know, I thought I'd do something totally different. When I first retired and 5 years later became a nominee for the Hall of Fame, I was very excited. I was hoping I'd go in, but I didn't go in the first year. It was like year after year after year. It was like 8 years past, 10 years, I don't know.
Finalist every year too.
A finalist every year on the final list. I didn't go in. I think it was the 14th time.
14th, yeah.
14th year I was nominated that I went in. And, you know, I was thinking about that. And so you don't play to be a Hall of Famer. You play because you want to be the best at what you do. You want your team to win. And you give everything you can to do that. And then maybe it was enough to get into the Hall of Fame. And maybe not. But would you do it any different? It's a key question. There are guys out there whose names are up for the Hall of Fame and they want it. They really want it badly. But I had to get to a point where it didn't make a difference. If I had gone into the Hall of Fame or had not gone into the Hall of Fame, I'd still be the MVP of Super Bowl 10. I'd still play on one of the greatest professional football teams in the history of football. I'd still be friends with Franco Harris, God rest his soul, L.C. Greenwood, who is no longer with us, Ernie Holmes, Joe Green, Mel Blount, Terry Bradshaw, John Stallworth, Mike Webster. All these guys, most of them were in the Hall of Fame. They'd still be my friends and I'd have that experience. And so I just kind of let it go because it was out of my hands. You know, somebody else is voting. That's fine. That's their opinion. But am I satisfied with what I've done? And the answer was yes. The answer was yes. And so I just let it go. So when I finally went in, it was in Tampa. And I was watching TV and I was doing some work for a company and they were all upstairs and I excused myself to go watch to see who the new inductees for the Hall of Fame were. And so I go down there to my room and I'm looking at the TV and it says, and now the new class of 2001. And they start rolling off names.
I remember this.
Yeah. And so trust me, your mind can play tricks on you in these key moments. So I'm listening to the TV and the guy says, what I hear in my head was, not in again, Lynn. That's what I thought he said. Not in again, Lynn. And my head dropped and they apparently dropped somebody's name that was going in and they had to pick it up off the floor. And they read his name and he's all relieved because he's gone in. And I'm thinking, that was weird. And, you know, and so then they put up on the screen graphically the new inductions class, the whole class. And I'm watching it, kind of not feeling good. And I look up and I see my name in there. It says Lynn Swann. I said, is that a mistake? It was there. And then the phone rings. It's my wife calling to congratulate. I get teary. I get tearful when I tell this. But it was such a moment of relief and satisfaction that all I had done, without ever saying I'm doing it to be in the Hall of Fame, was good enough to be a Hall of Famer. And so I will always cherish it, always respect it, and respect the process. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Lynn. I hope all of our students listening and tuned in there today know just from that statement right there how impactful it is to be a member of our Pro Football Hall of Fame. And Lynn, we cannot be happier to have you as a member of our family here in Canton, Ohio. So I know we got some more questions from all of our students today, so I'm going to throw it back to Jerry to start to wrap up our program. So Jerry, floor is yours.
Thank you, Jake. It looks like, did you grow a little, am I seeing that right? Did you grow a little grizz for your hunting? He went out hunting yesterday.
I have to stay with the time of the year.
Okay. Looks good on you, buddy. All right. We'll see you there later this week. So we'll go to a couple more live from here. And then I've got a couple interjected from some view-only schools. Let's do 2 more here.
Hello, my name is Camden Jennings. I'm a junior here at Denmark High School, and my question is,
Are you going to Florida State?
got a little bit interest over there.
Okay.
Yes, sir. What character traits do you believe it takes to be a Hall of Fame player?
What character traits does it take to be a Hall of Fame player?
You know, I think we already kind of talked about it in terms of commitment, you know, respect your teammates, to be able to sacrifice. I mean, we all want to contribute, but there's only one football and you have to share it. So you got to be a great teammate. So what position do you play?
It's a backup receiver.
Okay, defensive back and receiver. So if the ball comes to you, you're gonna block for the other guy? Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're gonna block for it. If the running back gets the ball, and he breaks through the line of scrimmage, a block by you might be the difference in a 5-yard gain or a 20-yard gain or a touchdown. It's a team sport. And then when you get down there, because he was doing all that running and the line was doing all that blocking, you know, you might be able to fake it to him and give you an opportunity. And you got to have your mindset to make that opportunity work. So that's what it's really all about. You know, it's giving your best, respect for your teammates. They have respect for you, and they have belief that you will do what you need to do for the team to win. When the team wins, everybody wins. You're welcome.
So Camden, I just got texted for 247sports.com. Is this you right here? I think so. My teammate just texted me, said, this is the kid that just asked the question. So he's pretty legit.
All right.
Awesome.
How are your grades? Pretty good? Okay, that's all right. It's important. You know, you got to get those grades because look, it doesn't matter whether you're really good at sports or not. That gives you an opportunity to go to college. It gave me an opportunity to go to the University of Southern California, which I could not have gone to without a scholarship. And it opens doors to experiences for you and in your family. It just opens doors. And you got to be prepared to do the work, get there, and make everything work out in your favor. All right? And take advantage of that. It's part of your growth. You know, discover more about yourself and things you want to do. Make sure you get your degree. Okay? Get that degree on that platform. You can go anywhere. Okay? All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Cameron. Let's go another one here.
Hi, my name is Houston. I'm a senior. How important would you say confidence and a positive self-image is to success?
It's beneficial. You know, you've got to believe in yourself to accomplish anything. And so you have to have that confidence. That confidence can't be so large that you become an egomaniac. Okay. But if you're playing on a team and they get you the ball, whether it's to catch a football, whether it's to take the next shot, then, you know, you've got to do it. And you have to have the confidence and the belief in yourself you can do it. So where does that confidence come from? It comes from putting in the work. You know, it comes from understanding what the plays are, making sure you can do the right thing. It's understanding what the defense is trying to do if you're an offensive player, you know, so you can make adjustments. If you're a defensive player, you know, you got to do the same thing. Traits, you know, study the guy's habits, you know, give you some indication of what that player might be doing so you can cover them better, you can make the play. But you've got to do all of those things.
Okay, well, let me just interject a question here, because you talked about the bronze bust, and obviously that's something that brings you to tears, as we
Mhm.
saw. The jacket you talked about, you opened it up.
Mhm.
But my question for you is,
The boots.
the ring, the boots, yeah, the boots. Or if you're Mel Blunt, I'd say the hat, you know? So, what does the K Jewelers Ring of Excellence symbolize to you?
Well, it's that you're a member of the Hall of Fame, that you were considered one of the best players who played the sport that you're engaged in. And that's what it means. You'll notice I have a wedding ring on, but I normally don't wear my Hall of Fame rings. They're big and they're heavy. But it means a great deal to me. To have that ring, to be a part of that community, to be considered among the best. And, you know, and I think about it, it's not just because I played well, because I was a good teammate. You know, I helped the team. I used to bring my rookie year, you know, like today they have nutrition service and all this kind of stuff and all this meal prep and they feed the guys and everything is great.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
We didn't get any of that. We had Monday off. We came in for a short day on Tuesday. There was a coffee pot. You drank coffee, and that was it. There was no lunch or anything. And so, since I was a first round pick, I decided, you know, I found this apartment. I'd pass by this bakery, so I come in and I buy 6 dozen donuts, assorted donuts, every Tuesday. Bring it in, get there early, lay it out on the table. So the team had something to eat. So I did that for the whole season and the playoffs. We win our first Super Bowl, my rookie year. Joe Green, me and Joe Green, 75. We're in the locker room. It's the first Super Bowl championship the Steelers have ever won. Ever. There are a lot of things that are floating through people's minds. You know, Joe Green walked up to me and he grabbed me by the neck, you know, or shirt, grabbed me by the collar and said, "Swanee." I'm going looking at Joe, a little nervous. You know, "Swanee, you make sure you bring those donuts next year." I said,
Yes, sir.
"Yes, Mr. Green." You know, so I figured I'd pass it on to the next first round pick. Next first round pick got cut. So he didn't even make the team. And Joe looked at me and said, "It's still on you." So for the next year, I brought those donuts. And then every year thereafter, the first round pick, we started a tradition. We'd pick it up, find a donut shop, bring it in, you know, for the whole 9 years that I was at Steelers.
So let me go to 2 from our remote, and then we're gonna do some rapid fire with you real quick. And we may, if we have time, to do one more question from you guys and then conclude with your final thoughts. So this one's a pretty quick one, an easy one. Magnolia, which is the school that's in Orlando, Florida, they texted in, do you still dance?
Only with my wife. I had a chance to dance with Gene Kelly. Fred Astaire was my idol. I actually met him. I was coming out of the post office in Beverly Hills, California, and Fred Astaire was coming in, and he looked like he just floated up the steps. He was so smooth. And I stopped me in my tracks, and I looked at him, and I'm sure my mouth was hanging open. And he came back, turned around, looked at me, and just winked and went in. I mean, just that little bit from someone you admire is huge. So I danced with them. I danced with Twyla Tharp, great choreographer. I danced with another principal ballet dancer from the New York City Ballet. We did the show. So I've done a number of programs like that.
Awesome, awesome. And another question from Yucca Elementary School. How did your Hall of Fame coach, Chuck Noll, impact you and your teammates?
Chuck was a great coach. What made Chuck so great was his preparation. Chuck is going to win the football game for you by the game plan he puts in front of you for everybody going into that game. And so when you put that game plan together and you see the routes, you see what the defense is doing, when the assistant coaches explain, this is why we're going to do it this way, the offensive line's going to do this, our secondary is going to do X, Y, and Z, you now have confidence going into the game. You have confidence that if you do your part, you're going to win. It's kind of like prepping for a test. You get a test, you know what the material is. You spend the time studying it, you know it. You know what the teacher is going to give you in terms of whether it's true or false, yes or no, essay questions. And so you got all this information. And so you prepare. When you prepare, you're going to be okay. The only time you're not going to have success is if you don't prepare. Even if you lose, even if you lose a game in football, because you prepared and went after it, yeah, the other team was just better. Or somebody made a mistake, it didn't work out. But you can never have the kind of success you want to have if you don't prepare. And that's critical.
And let me just add in, we'll go to one more question from your students and some rapid fire questions is, you know, even me working at the Hall of Fame now for 24 years, I go back to my alma mater, the University of Mount Union, to speak to sport business majors, because I'm on the sport business advisory board there. And the professor there always tells the story to the students. The reason why I got the job at the Pro Football Hall of Fame is I came in better prepared than anyone else, knowing who the board of trustees were, knowing who the Hall of Fame members were, knowing the mission, and being well prepared. So what he's sharing with you guys, that translates to anything in life. I've heard the same, some of you probably heard it, you know, perfect preparation prevents poor performance. And it's kind of a neat little way of saying it. But when you prepare well, let me just assure you, not every time. The Buffalo Bills prepare well. They lost 4 straight Super Bowls. So it doesn't always work out. But if you have a habit in life of being unparalleled preparers in everything that you do, you will find yourself being very successful in life. And so preparation is just a key to everything. Go ahead. We'll go one last question here and then some rapid fire. And I know, real quick, I know we're getting to the end here. So any of our schools tuning in remotely that have to disconnect at 1 o'clock, feel free to go. We'll just go a couple minutes over here.
My name's Brock, and I'm in the 11th grade. And I wanted to ask you what it meant to win the Walter Payton Man of the Year award.
It meant a lot. My parents were very strong in terms of doing the right thing and earning respect. It's one of the things they taught all of us, my 2 older brothers and myself. And so sharing that with your teammates and sharing that with your community is part of the process. And so I was on the board of directors for Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America. And I eventually became chairman of the board of Big Brothers. And we had over 400 agencies, you know, around the country at that time, trying to give back to the community and help other people, providing mentors for young kids in mostly single parent families, and helping them shape a vision of what their future could truly be, you know, not one that their circumstances might dictate or say that they can't have, but being able to follow their dreams. And, you know, that was hugely important to me. The fact that as a result, I was chairman of the President's Council on Physical Fitness and Sports also. And based on those things, I was, you know, elected by my teammates and was the finalist and winner of the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. We, because of what we do, have a great platform to impact other people who look at us positively. If we share that and we give of ourselves to share that information and what got us there. All of you in this room, all of you on camera, wherever you are, possess that ability to be great, to share, to provide a vision and a view for other people to achieve and for yourself to achieve and to be better and make your community better. And that's hugely important. We don't win as a society if we're not helping each other, if we're not doing the right things, if we don't get engaged. And it might be things that you think, I shouldn't do that. But you guys can shape opinions very quickly, either negatively or positively, because maybe somebody's looking up to you. If you have a little brother or a little sister, it impacts them. This is not just about sports. This is about life. And be that example of what you should be and what you can be, so that they know it's possible. I mean, when I was in junior high school, I didn't think the life that I've had so far as an adult, I didn't think that was possible for me. Wasn't my dream. But because I like to compete, I mean, I took gymnastics at the boys' clubs, and that kind of thing, because I like to compete. It led to all these other things. So that would be my advice. Do those things, reach out, share, be a good friend, be a good big brother, big sister, help other people, find out the other things in your life that are important to you, and get engaged. That will make a huge difference in your life.
And that's one of the things that I love about what I get to do. I get to work with these guys, guys like Anthony Munoz is doing great things in Cincinnati through his foundation, putting kids into college and stuff like that. Alan Page, who served on the Minnesota Supreme Court Justice as a Minnesota Supreme Court Justice. And I want you guys to understand what he's talking about here is, he had a platform in football to do good and use that platform to help other people, to have a servant's heart, if you will. You might not have a gold jacket to be able to do that, but you have influence in your community, with your brothers and sisters, with your teammates, with those that look up to you, those of you that play sports. You have, I've got kids in elementary school that look up to the high school football players. They see what you're doing. And as he said, you can either be a positive influence or a negative influence. And I believe we have in the school here today a bunch of young people that want to be a positive influence. And so I want to encourage you guys to understand that every one of us has been blessed with a platform to do good. Look for opportunities to do good and to bless other people. So just a quick rapid fire questions, and we'll go to a summary if you have any closing thoughts, which I don't know. That was a great closing thought right there with you. So just 1 or 2 word answer. That's all we need here. And just make it quick. First thing that comes to mind. Best football movie.
What was the Gale Sayers?
Brian Song.
Brian Song.
There we go. The new or the old one? The old one with Billy D. Williams and James Conner. Yeah, there we go. Not the 2001 version. What's your go-to game day snack?
Barbecue potato chips.
Least favorite stadium to visit?
Anyone that's not ours. The Raiders Stadium, probably my least
Raiders
favorite.
fan over there.
Oh, nobody's perfect.
Tailgate or watch from home?
Watch from home.
Any other position besides wide receiver?
Coach.
Who do you think won it all this year?
Hard to tell. I'm telling you that. Look, do I want the Steelers to win? Yes. Okay. Kansas City is still looking like they're going to be tough. The Bills are playing some great football. I got to tell you, watch out for Detroit. Okay. I mean, these guys are good. Now, I was athletic director at USC for 4 years, and Amon-Ra St. Brown was a wide receiver for USC. I mean, he's gotten better. I mean, he makes catches. He doesn't miss a route. He runs perfect routes, misdirection, and a great pair of hands. So there are going to be some tough games coming up because there are a lot of good teams at the top. But
cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Superpower, if you could have one.
Fly.
You kind of already did it. We're gonna do one more. Morning person or night owl?
Morning person.
Okay. All right. So Is there anything, just to close things out, is there anything either you want to reiterate or something you may have thought about now that you'd like to share with these students to close things out?
I'll be brief. Be yourself. Do the right things, but be who you are. Do not be afraid of who that person is. I had people who teased me about taking dance lessons and said that I was gay. When I played football, there are defensive backs on the professional level, called me a punk and told me to put my tutu on. Okay, but did that stop me from dancing? No. Be who you are. Express yourself. Enjoy your life. Be a good influence. But be the person you want to be. And that goes back to commitment. That goes back to respect. That's having the courage to do the right things. That's having integrity. At the end of the day, you're being honest with yourself. You stick with those 5 things, your life has a chance of being everything you want it to be.
And with that being said, that concludes our Heart of Hall of Famer series connected by Extreme Networks. Let's give Mr. Lynn Swann one last thing. Thank you, students that are here live. Thank you to students that are connected in here. I know my teammates are like, this is why we don't send Jerry out because he always goes over. So thank you all the students that persevered and stayed in for the long haul here to connect with us here. This concludes our program.